Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. I've seen all the Purge movies finally. There are only 5 in the franchise and I'm going to rank them today. And like I said before I've done this whole Purge franchise, is I'm not going to be ranking the TV shows because I haven't seen them yet, and I'll probably eventually watch them, but they won't be included in my ranking. So it's just going to be 5 movies from worst to best. And at number 5 is the First Purge, which is the 4th movie in the franchise. And I feel like for a film that has a concept of doing the very first Purge, I feel like they could have went in all different scenarios with this idea, but instead they took the racial route, and it's not a bad idea if you're wanting to see real life racism and real life politics in your horror films. But for me, it kind of took me out of the unrealistic world of the Purge, and it made me focus myself into real life racism and politics. The idea of doing an experiment was cool. The idea of having it in a little island, Staten Island for example, is cool because people can leave or stay depending on whether or not they want to take part in this experiment. So the idea was there. I just think the focus on the racism was a little bit too heavy-handed for me. Some people like that aspect of it. I'm not saying it was terrible. I just thought it took me out of what I thought was going to be a cool experiment. And then number 4 is the Forever Purge, which is the 5th movie in the franchise. And just like the first Purge, I feel like they'd done something different, which was cool. The concept was there because they can't keep doing the same Purge over and over again. But I think the execution in the Forever Purge seems a little bit too focused on real world politics or real world racism or real world presidential candidates. And again, not being from America, I didn't take it too seriously, but I can see Americans watching this film and half of them enjoying it and the other half not enjoying it because of the decisions that were made that were focused and mirrored just like they are in real life. So the politics were heavy-handed, just like they are in most of the films, but I think it focused too much on the real world for me to really fully focus and enjoy it. However, it's still an enjoyable entry in the franchise. And then number 3 is the Purge election year, which is also the 3rd movie in the franchise. And I think this is where you get politics spot on. You've got unrealistic politics in an unrealistic scenario. If you want to introduce politics into a horror film, this is how to do it. This is the perfect balance between what you might consider what would be realistic in an unrealistic world, but keeping away from actual real life politics. That's the perfect way to do it. With that mixed in, you've got great character development, some good horror, some great action as well. So overall, a fantastic film. And then number 2 is The Purge, the first film in the franchise. This is the one that gets a lot of stick and a lot of hate. As the movies progressed, I feel like this one is the black sheep of the family because it's the one that stands out as being this isolated film where it's only focused on one family and one house. As the movies progressed and the Purge world got bigger, people started to not really like the original film, but I still think the original concept is what makes the first one really good because you've got that isolation, because you're focused on one family. I think it was a great idea. Yes, of course, the idea's got a little bit better in making it nationwide. It already was nationwide, but at least it focused on the whole entire of the US instead of one family. So that's the only negative that I would really have, that there are certain aspects of the sequels that were better, but watching the first film, some of the best acting you'll get in the franchise, some of the best actors that you will get to act in the Purge movies as well. So I still think this film stands the test of time and I still really enjoy it. And then number 1 is The Purge Anarchy, which is the 2nd film. I just think there's something about Frank Grillo's character that just mesmerises me. He's a great actor, really underrated actor, but not just that, his character Leo was fantastic as well because he was hurt, he was broken, and he was just a great character. Trying to get revenge for his son, I'm not saying what he's doing is right, but he's using the Purge to his advantage to do something good. And along the way, he's picking up strays, he's picking up other characters, helping them out. So he is a good guy trying to do something that just will maybe clear his mind on Purge night, which is it a bad thing? I don't know. But all the characters that he's picking up are fantastic as well. They all had a really good backstory, all had good motives to be where they were on Purge night as well. So the characters were great. There were some really good horror elements when the Purge was still considered a horror franchise. Some great action as well. And building on that Purge story and seeing the horrors, not just of one family like we did in the first one, but seeing it nationwide as well. I think the second one does it best over the rest of the films, because the rest of the films do go nationwide. You do get to see it. Even in the fifth one, you see them crossing the borders, but there's something about the second one that shocked you a little bit more, because it was the first in the franchise that you got to see it nationwide, and it was horrific. So that is my ranking for all the 5 Purge movies, guys. And after watching them all for the first time, I've seen the first 3 at the cinema, and watching the last 2 for the first time for this ranking, there's one thing I can confirm is the Purge franchise is decent. I think the worst film, which is the First Purge, is still a good movie. So I didn't know I didn't realise I'd be saying this, but the Purge franchise is actually pretty strong. So I think if they do bring out a 6th one eventually, with the TV show aside, if a 6th movie comes out, I think I'll probably go and see it at the cinema, because there's not a bad movie in the franchise. Maybe the 6th one, if it does come out, will be bad. Time will tell. But if the first 5 movies have got anything to go by, I'm actually looking forward to seeing future Purge movies if they come. So what are your thoughts on that, guys? Do you agree with my list? And as there is only 5 movies on this list, let me know your top 5 from worst to best, or best to worst, however you want to do it. Let me know what's your best at least, and let me know why. And as always, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone to know!